And a very good evening. Hello, and thank you for joining us once again on our little soiree. This is number two of who knows how many. Because the last time, when it was lockdown one, we didn't bother with lockdown two because everybody was a bit casual about it. But
Yeah, we've got a deal now, so it should not last that long.
well, it's we seem to go live, don't we? At moments, at decisive moments in history. So not only it's the second day. It's not really lockdown two at all yet because lockdown two theoretically starts tomorrow night at midnight. But this is the sort
Three.
of pre-lockdown special.
Three.
Lockdown three. That's right. Oh, one, two, three. Yep.
Yeah, that's
Lockdown
that's
three starts at midnight tomorrow night. This is Christmas Eve, 2020. If you're watching this in 40 years' time, and we've been reconstructed as holograms, that's the date and time, and it's Brexit. Whatever day of the week it is, Thursday. Brexit Thursday, when a deal has finally been announced with the European Union by Boris Johnson. And well, you know, surprise, surprise. I thought that it would be at 1 minute to midnight on December 31st, but they pulled out all the stops. These negotiators had lots of extra pizza and got it all done, got the job done. Yeah, interesting.
Yep, it is.
So, yeah, 2,000 pages for our. I'm sure that the MPs on Christmas Day are going to read the 2,000 pages of the Brexit document. Are they not? They're going to study it very carefully so that they can have a carefully considered vote about it in the House on next week.
I can always help them to read.
I think they might need a bit of assistance with some of the small print, but it's a done deal. And apparently we're going to be like Canada, which means what? Very cold winters.
Well, that's a good thing because I'm a bit hot at the moment.
Ha
It's
ha.
probably the hat. It's probably the hat.
It probably is
Oh,
actually.
that's a big-
That it is indeed. Look, and so I've got one of those as well. And but who's going to be the elves? That's the thing. And we've got a third hat here tonight, and it's a hangover from a while ago when there was a property meeting in Cambridge, and inside this hat, which you might be able to see, there are a load of tickety things, and so we're going to pull out the winner, which would have been from. I think we probably had a
Oh
winner
my
3 years
God!
ago.
Yes, we did have a.
But
Yeah,
this
we
is
had a
an
couple of
extra
winners.
winner.
Yes, I know.
This is an extra winner from tonight, and subject to GDPR, we're going to read out their name, which is. Oh my lord! We couldn't make it up. This is not a setup. We actually did this. This is a sort of for
It's
real
from last
thing.
year, yeah.
And the winner from this event is
John Corey.
Mr. John Corey, who I don't know if you can actually see that, but yes, if I bring it right up close. So we didn't we didn't stage this. All these things actually fell out on the floor because this was the hat that I was going to have. So we put them all back inside, and I'm not sure what the prize was, but perhaps. The prize was to be interviewed by Andrew Roberts and myself over Christmas, and indeed John Corey was very kind enough, along with a whole lot of other people, to take part in our 12 Days of Probably Christmas, which might be 13 now.
I like John Corey. He's very much into all the techie stuff and everything else in terms of racing funds and things. Blah, blah.
He's a lovely fellow. We're great fans of John, and if you're watching John this evening,
He's in the USA, isn't he?
he is in the
still...
USA at the moment, so it would be a different time of the day. They'd probably be having their supper. I don't know, 5 o'clock tea or something. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever part of the year.
Too challenging to work that one out.
So Christmas Eve, I hope everybody's having a pre-Christmas celebration at home, and having a nice little bubbly or whatever drink you fancy. And here is to you a very Merry Christmas.
Your good health. Now we should point out, of course, that I don't know. I'm not sure how many countries celebrate Christmas Day on Christmas Day, because certainly a lot of countries celebrate Christmas Day tonight, and mainland Europe mostly does that, doesn't it? And Mexico as well.
Mexico, we celebrate on Christmas Eve. Yes, it is. We have our big turkey and lots of food on Christmas Eve. And we go around our parents' houses and everything else to enjoy. And then at the Bells, obviously, we have our celebration of the baby Jesus. And we drink and be merry, and then we just go.
Mm-hmm. Right,
to see our friends and carry on the party.
Sorry, clarify what the bells are. You mean the bells at midnight, or?
Yeah, for some reason, yes. Bells at midnight, yeah. We have like a little ceremony in which we carry baby Jesus and sing to baby Jesus and share stuff and share wisdom, and then have our big meal and off we go.
That's a lovely tradition. And then do you have another big meal on Christmas Day or not?
No, we just
that's it.
reheat.
No.
And it tastes delicious. It's the best thing. Yeah. Next day we call it the recalentado.
All right.
So
next year we're going to do that, aren't we?
yes. So everything going well. We'll be in Mexico hopefully.
Yes, we'll be in Mexico next Christmas.
I don't know.
We might, I suppose we might. Yeah, who knows?
COVID permitting, probably not.
Well, we might have to with COVID. We'll probably have to put masks on and swim. But subject to that, yes, or we might jet ski over there.
What? Jet ski?
Like the
to
guy
Mexico, from England to Mexico.
Yes, there was this guy, was there not, who had a... weren't we talking about this last night? The guy who had a girlfriend who was based in, I think, Liverpool, had a girlfriend on the Isle of Man, and wanted to break the quarantine lockdown there, because so there were no kind of ferries or anything going across. So he crossed from mainland UK to the Isle of Man on his jet ski. You didn't... We didn't talk
to
about
the
that.
Isle of Man, not to Mexico. No, we didn't.
But anyway, he was apprehended after 2 or 3 days and placed into quarantine for a fortnight. So, but presumably allowed to stay and not sent back. So interesting. But anyways, we're just going to have a short conversation this evening because we are about to watch our Christmas movie. And hello, Sharon. It's how very nice to see you this evening. I hope you had a very nice Christmas Eve. And we were just talking about how Christmas Eve in the UK. And I'm not sure how many countries that replies to.
He
got sent back. How terrible that fella from that's a terrible thing to do just before Christmas, isn't it? Really. But I suppose they didn't want whole flocks of people from the mainland popping over there. But yeah, that was a story in the news that sort of hit me the most in recent weeks, because the bumbling one in Downing Street, we knew what was going to happen there anyway, Sharon's going to be watching Lucifer in a bit.
Yes, so we're just going to be 15 minutes and then off we go.
We're going to be watching the Miracle on 34th Street, as I think I mentioned yesterday. Not the one with Attenborough, which was good, but the original one with, I think, Maureen O'Hara, from about an awfully long number of years ago, probably about 70 years ago, but although I can't do the sum in my head. Sharon says we've been ostracised in this dystopian world. That's very, very true. Very, very true. And so it appears, and they kept this quiet, didn't they? It appears that from January the 1st, the UK will no longer be on the very short list of favoured nations who are allowed to travel to the European Union during COVID times. So only in very exceptional circumstances will Brits be allowed to go marauding on the continent. Indeed. And then in about 2 years' time, I think 2023, we're going to need some kind of visa waivers and things. You'll have to pay a fee and do lots of paperwork.
It is just crazy. I don't understand it. I mean, it is a small continent. We really should get together. But here we are.
Well, anyway, indeed. So it's like California declaring independence, isn't it? But there we are. And enough of my opinionated waffling and
Who moved my cheese?
Oh yeah. Well, yes. We had we unpacked the whole fridge today, didn't we? All over the kitchen.
Yeah.
We did. But and then we put it all back in again. And yeah. Oh my goodness me. Two friends of a friend of Sharon's got fined £125 for one of them going in the other's house at Havering, but presumably their neighbours must have grassed them up or something. It seems very strange that should happen. It's not nice to have neighbours like that, is it? Really? I wouldn't be very happy to have neighbours myself. So a Christmas gift from Bob looks good, says Sharon. Well, you never know. You never know, do you? So as of tomorrow, I'm not sure how many bubbles we're going to have in our. We're allowed to have tomorrow. It was going to be 3 bubbles in our house, wasn't it? But now it's just a bit of bubbly instead. So and
I'm keeping it warm.
Oh my goodness, that's an extraordinary thing. A hot water bottle for champers. I never knew such things existed. I mean,
they do.
So here's something you've got to explain to me then, as a bit of a naive fella.
The neighbours grass them. It says,
I
"Oh, that's awful."
what horrible neighbours! I hope they'll put something over the fence in the middle of the night. And
Oh,
you know,
that's so sad.
horrible, horrible, horrible. Yeah, not
I
nice at all.
understand it, but I understand the principles, but sometimes principles are not right.
Yeah, and I think it's only fair to remember that this virus has been the same probably since the beginning of January. It's probably been the same for 12 months, and the rules are kind of like, you can have 6 people at home, you can have 6 people, you can't have 6 people at home, you can have 6 people in the pub, you can't have 6 people in the pub, and bit arbitrary, bit sort of which way's the wind blowing today, but the old virus hasn't really changed, despite what we are told. It's a film, a Christmas gift from Bob, that follows Bob the cat. I'm aware of that film, Bob the cat, although I hadn't seen it because in those pre-COVID times, which seems like an age ago, there were on the London Underground, on the sides, on the walls, there were posters for the film Bob the Cat, which we never got around to seeing. But maybe we should try and catch up with Bob, because there's plenty of time for catching up with stuff, isn't there, when you're stuck at home and so forth. And before we came on, Ian was going to be kitted out in the full Christmas stuff. Were you not?
Yes. I was
And
wearing my
that didn't quite work.
fluffy pajamas. It was too hot.
It was. So 3 people Sharon has got, and 3 cats, which is wonderful. And are these cats permanent residents of your household, Sharon? And what are their names? That's this is some important information. We're great cat fans, aren't we?
Yeah.
Our feline friends are just like lovely. Absolutely wonderful and a joy, and cats and humans have been coexisting now for one heck of a long time, have we not? And cats are wonderful creatures, and they say, don't they, that dogs have masters and cats have servants, and there is an element of truth in that. Because the cat will Mr. and Mrs. Slim Santa. That's that's lovely. That's lovely. But no, I've had cats since I was a wee lad, in short trousers going to school, quite literally. And we went to get some.
Eva, Bella, and Narcissa. Oh, I love the name of Narcissa. That's a brilliant name. Wow.
That is absolutely beautiful. So I'm guessing that these are 3 ladies. These cats, and
Eva,
what beautiful,
Bella, and Narcissa.
what beautiful names. So Wendy says that in her neck of the woods, in the other side of the big pond, that they're allowed to have one person who is alone for Christmas. That's very nice. It's very compassionate, and a wonderful. It's a wonderful thought, and I'm all for that. Sharon says 2 of the 2 of her feline friends are Harry Potter cats, which is I haven't followed the entire Harry Potter saga, although I'm familiar with some of it, but I don't recall any cats in there. But obviously, cats traditionally have magical powers, don't they? So yeah, cats pick you. Dogs are picked by you. So when I was, I don't know, 8 years old or something, we went to get my first cat. I was given the awesome task of naming said feline, and after much deliberation and thought and looking in the dictionary of cat names, I came up with the name Puss, which was the name for my cat, and we doubled it up then to Puss Puss. So there. Now you know all my security questions at the bank, don't you, Reese? So you'll be able to log on tomorrow and empty my account of all £1 that's in there. So I went with my parents to get this my wonderful feline friend, and we picked one up, which was wriggled away. It jumped out, and then we got another one instead. So but for that, we'd have had a completely life would have been totally different.
Yeah. I was very lucky. I had all sorts of pets. Cats, dogs, even an armadillo. And yes, I was very blessed.
Didn't yesterday we had a struggle to read what people were saying, because I put the second camera, the one we use for YouTube, right in front of the bit where the messages come up, so apparently Sharon's kids are quite smart there because the kid said to Dad, Dad, we're getting 3 cats, and he thought they said 1 free cat. So Dad, a bit like me, must have been a bit hard with the old hearing.
I think it's a trick.
Possibly listening to too much rock and roll as a youngster, as did I. So that wicked witch names, Bellatrix and Narcissa. I see. That makes a lot of sense. And well, a witch's familiar is often a black cat, is it not? So I can remember when I was a kid, there was a TV show which was called Bewitched on television, which was about a lady who I think she used to wrinkle her nose or wrinkle her ears or something.
The nose.
Oh, it was the nose, was it? And do magic spells and such like. Yeah, I have very fond recollections of that times. And Sharon had a hamster called SPG, after the young ones hamster. Oh, I remember the young ones. I was a great fan of that particular thing. But anyways, so here we are, and today started almost like a normal day, did it not? So we jumped in the car, as we're currently still allowed to do. We hobnobbed it down to the old supermarket. We had a race up the travelator. We did, which is a funny thing.
What happens is there's a travelator, and there are some stairs. So we always spray a race. I just got on the stairs all the way up to the top, and he kind of. You carry the trolley, right?
I have to. Well, in order to race, I have to lift the trolley.
Yeah, you lift the trolley and then you just go all the way up. And
I run carrying the trolley, and everybody.
But I always win anyway.
This is true. Well, you would, wouldn't you? Since I'm carrying a trolley, so but you only win by a nose.
Yes, but hang on a second. You going on a travelator. I'm going with my power legs.
And I weighed myself today with all my clothes on, and I was lighter than I've ever been. Probably
66.
all that. Exactly. But if I disrobe now and we weigh me again, who knows what might happen? Which we'll have to do that later. But so that's quite a thought, isn't it? Really. But yeah. So I'm very pleased because I suppose I did say this year, didn't I, that I'm going to eat and everything in great moderation for Christmas, so as to slay the kind of slim David that I am. But we'll see if I manage it. Because tomorrow's the telling occasion when we'll see if we can do that. Food,
yes.
Glorious food.
Yes, all the Christmas stuff here. So, whom of you cheese, David?
Well, that is the question, and we absolutely did, because we came back from the store today, and we had a lot of shopping, did we not?
Yes.
And we were wondering whether to fire up all those spare freezers and things that we have, especially with Brexit about to go down later in the day, which we didn't know, of course. And so I thought I had a very smart idea. So instead, I just spread the things all over the worktops everywhere and all over the floors and blah blah blah, and muddled it all around. But now we have in our freezer for the first time, I think, since we moved here. We had Sharon said she thought I'd lost weight, and it must have been the press ups. Absolutely so. So. But yeah. So now I just can't believe it. We've got meat in one compartment in the fridge, and bread in another compartment in the fridge, vegetables in another, which we've never had before. So our life is less exciting, but it'll be much easier to find stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
everything is compartmentalized.
Everything going up in the air just because you want a slice of bread or something. All our bread gets frozen, by the way.
Not all of it.
A few little crumbs escape, but most of it does. And then you see it's not going to get mould or anything, ever. But it's not as tasty, to be honest.
No, more so when you eat it frozen.
You can toast it straight from the frozen.
I toast it.
There you go.
Eat it frozen.
I do eat it frozen, actually, because I'm a bit funny that way. But you eat ice cream, so come on.
Yeah, but that's different.
Some people crunch on ice cubes, don't they, and drink.
Anyway.
But no. So anyway, the question of who moved my fridge was solved very easily when it was in the same place I left it in the morning. But that reminded me of this book by a fellow called Dr. Spencer Johnson, and it was kind of quite a groundbreaking book in its time, actually, and so much so that it was not just about life, was it? It was about business and
it's a very simple book.
In many different but the simpler ones are the most thought-provoking.
There's a lot of common sense into and I found that in fact when I bought this book is when I moved when I was working for a big company in which there are There are always changes, but this particular time was a huge change. New systems, new people, new departments, all amalgamating just to make the work more streamlined. So I bought myself this book just to help me, and it is just very simple in terms of how people get affected by changes. And COVID has been a huge change overall. And so David, talking about that, he came up with the what's in my fridge.
Yes, I mean, because obviously, if we're going to write our own book, we can't use somebody else's idea. So I changed it to what's in my fridge, but the concept is very similar. So but plagiarism isn't what it used to be, is it really now? So, what are the kind of what's in my fridge concepts then? What's the bottom line here on that?
Well, in terms of what is in your fridge, basically you need to monitor the change, what you have, basically. Common sense.
Shall we rewind by kind of going through the story quickly?
Yes.
Not everybody will be familiar with it.
Yeah.
Well, no, you've read it more times than I have.
No, go ahead.
Well, there are these two mouse dudes, and there are these two small people dudes, and they're put into a maze, and they have to look for cheese. And the people, being of the sort of Homo sapiens minoris genre, are more kind of thoughtful about it, and yes, the little rodents are more cheese-like about it. So as you might imagine, without really overthinking it, the mice go straight for the cheese and demolish it, and the people kind of philosophize and think about it and deliberate and so forth, and they all arrive at, I think it's cheese station number 3,
C.
where there's which
C station.
C. Oh, okay. It rhymes with 3, there, doesn't it? So anyway,
ABC,
so they go to station C, where there's enough cheese to go round. Everybody's munching away, chomp, 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 and unbeknown to the small people-like creatures, the cheese stocks are getting lower and lower and lower. And when they get down to sort of almost 0, the mice move on, because cheese is their life and their life is cheese. And so they explore deeper into the maze in order to find some more cheese, which after a bit of shinnigging and shannigging, they find, you'll no doubt correct me, cheese station M or something like this, or N or whatever, much deeper into the maze than C. And there's more plentiful cheese, and they get stuck in. And in fact, it's the biggest supply of cheese they've ever seen in their lives. Whereas the two small people stay in C, debating who moved their cheese, whether they had authorization to move said cheese, and how victim-like they are now because their cheese is no longer there.
You skipped one very, very pivotal moment in which the two little people get very comfortable because they know they got to station C and they find their cheese.
Oh,
no
habit.
problem at all. So becoming a habit, and they, instead of getting the trainers and going out again and find the cheese, they just know that the cheese is going to be in station C. So they just go there every day, put the trainers around their neck, and they just continue to enjoy being there, normal stuff. So, but they didn't realize, and they don't pay attention that the cheese is running low. Yep, they do, but they don't kind of pay attention to it. And just one day they just turn up and says, "Oh, where's my cheese? Oh, the cheese was here. Hang on a second. Who took my cheese?" And start blaming on each other, blaming and hoping that the cheese would appear from nowhere. And basically, the metaphor, the whole thing, the whole story of Who Moved My Cheese is that more so with what we have all been experienced with COVID, it's everybody's moved our cheese. So now we have to go and find our own, and basically it's finding you through self, and just go and get the resources wherever they are, and this is the opportunity for you to do that. Basically, that's what it is. They got comfortable, but comfortable is not the right thing.
Yeah, and so we changed it to what's in my fridge, with a sort of very unsubtle change, and so now and eventually one of the small people does wander off into the maze, finds the new cheese place, and gets stuck in. It's taking him a lot longer, but the first person is still sulking away in cheese station C, and the saga ends with the small person who is in the new cheese refractory hearing some noises, and wondering if that other human has come to join him. But as in all good stories, it's left with a big question mark. So over to you, Irma, for the moral of the tale.
Basically, it's monitor change and move with the flow. Don't fear it, embrace it. Don't overthink your situation. Focus on your primary needs, but not. Fear not. Embrace change and go with it. Butter never ends, just has new beginnings.
So yeah, that's the thing. The way to get through life is to keep your finger on the pulse, see the way that the wind is moving, mixing all these metaphors here, and basically to go with the flow.
But in the meantime, may you all have a great Christmas. And talking of music, you thought about She's Gone.
Oh yeah, well, since we're talking about this, the subject, today's song is Daryl Hall
She's
and
Gone.
John Oates with the great song "Cheese Gone." And with that, I think we should probably go as quickly as possible because the jokes don't get any cheesier than that. So thank you so much for your company on this Christmas evening, Christmas Eve evening, and we will possibly, if we don't get too merry and bright, be with you again on actual Christmas Day. If we do get a tad too merry and bright, then we'll see you probably on Boxing Day. But the jury's out on that one. I'd say it's 50-50. But in any event, 100% with huge sincerity, do have a most wonderful and safe Christmas, and take care. And we will, in any event, see you very, very soon indeed. Thank you so much for your company tonight.